Hello, this is a Swede Speaks. It's the 23rd of January 2017 and it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning Central European time. And first of all, I would like to say, dear Americans and dear President Trump and all Trumpers, I am sorry. The reporters of Sweden and Norway are acting stupid. And although a large part of the population of both countries believes the lies they are fed, this is not true about everyone. There is a large minority who starts to question what they are fed by media. One of the reasons is that back in the good old days, a Swede would only read Swedish newspapers. He would only read the editorials. It was much easier for them to tell you what to think. Now, with internet, people are able to find information in foreign media and, well, all around the web. But I digress. As one of my favorite YouTubers used to say, I have that problem too. I so easily digress. So I need to take a look at my notes, what I was going to say. We could start off with the Swedish journalist Patrick Ravet. I'm a little unsure about how to pronounce his last name. Anyway, he was sent out by SVT, Sveriges Television, the Swedish television, which is a channel paid, which is a license payer funded channel in Sweden. And he was there during the inauguration of President Trump. He was outside the area. He was not where Trump was inaugurated, but he was outside where there was a lot of American Trumpers standing, cheering. And he found a young girl, or a young woman. She didn't look very old, anyway, but old enough to make up her mind. And the Swedish reporters more or less attacks her verbally. He starts out by asking why she supports Trump, and she gives him a few reasons, and then he starts objecting that, but he's a billionaire. Are you a billionaire? Sorry, but where did that come from? I know that in a leftist mindset, anyone who is not poor, or, well, no, that's not true. Anyone who is rich is evil. But then again, they don't like the poor either, because the poor are so easily bought by the rich, and the poor are so easily fooled. Yeah, I was a Marxist once. I know a lot of how a Marxist thinks, and I'm not sure if this reporter is a Marxist in the same way I was, but a lot of the Marxist thinking is very popular among the media in Sweden, and it seems to be popular in academia in the United States too. But anyway, and then he starts going really crazy by confusing Trump and Obama, and starts talking about if she's got Muslim friends, what they think about her opinions, and when she says that she doesn't really discuss politics with them, because, well, not everyone likes to discuss politics with everyone. I mean, even I have Muslim friends, and I don't necessarily discuss politics or religion with them, unless they want to. If they start discussing, of course I will discuss with them. But I see no reason why I should force my opinions on anyone I meet or anyone I know. I wait for them to take the initiative. I mean, making a video is a completely different thing, and no one is forced to watch this. And he talks about that Trump, or he says Obama, wants to register Muslims. Well, Mr. Reporter, whose English was worse than mine, to give you a picture. So he also confuses social security with welfare, and yeah, it's a mess. And I am ashamed that I have ever been a Swedish citizen when I watched that. But I am going to post a link to the video so you can see for yourselves. The thing is, Trump is not going to register Muslims, at least not now. What he has said, and what I hope and expect that he will do, is that he will impose a harder vetting on those people immigrating to the United States. Whether they are Muslims, whether they are Mexicans, whether they are Swedes, whatever. He will check where do they come from, what do they want, or, yeah, and why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't a country control its own borders? I mean, a country that doesn't have any borders is not a country at all. So, of course he should do that. Anyway, let's move on further. There is another report I have to mention too. In the Norwegian TV channel TV2, which is, in theory, a privately owned TV channel, although it is semi-governmental, because it's got some special privileges that most privately owned channels doesn't have in this country. I mean in Norway, where I live. Paul T. Jørgensen said or claimed that Donald Trump hasn't spoken about politics since he was inaugurated. Well, hasn't he? I think he has. Anyway, and when was he inaugurated? 3 days ago. Are you kidding me? And Donald Trump will not make a public statement every day, or maybe he will. I mean, that's not up to me to decide. But did you see that hilarious video of his press secretary, Sean something, who really told the reporters how it is? I mean, I am in favor of freedom of press. Yes. But I am also in favor of when the press spreads lies, they should be told what they are doing. And that's exactly what Trump's press secretary did, and I loved it. So I will post a video of that too if I find it. So we are closing to the end. This was what I was going to say about the Swedish and Norwegian, some of the comments on Trump's, on Trump. But there is another thing that's recently happened too that should be mentioned. No-go zones has been spreading in Sweden, as in many other Western countries, like in France, for instance, in the UK. I'm not sure about Germany. In Norway, we don't really have that. You could argue if there maybe is one, but no, I don't think so. We don't really have that. But in Sweden, there's lots of them, 155 or something like that. When I grew up in Sweden, in the 1980s and 1990s, they were free. Free. And that was free too many. But now there are 155, or that number is old, so there might be more now. And the Swedish Secretary of Policy Coordination in the Swedish government, Mr. Ibrahim Baylan, who, by the way, is an ethnic Assyrian. That means that he is from a Christian culture. He has finally admitted that this is actually a reality. Because for many years, the Swedish media and the Swedish politicians, except for the politicians of the Sweden Democrats, have denied this. They said this is racist propaganda. And anyone who says anything about this is a racist, a xenophobe, and shouldn't be listened to. And in social media, a lot of people have been blocking people saying this, and it has even affected your chances of getting a job. And there are a lot of examples of that in Sweden. One day I might make a video about that. Anyway, Mr. Baylan says that the reason for these no-go areas is bourgeois parties, the so-called right, which isn't very right at all in Sweden, lower taxes, and the sick benefits. That has been more difficult to get sick benefits in Sweden. Is that man out of his mind? Or is he lying intentionally? We know what the reason is. And I am sorry to all the snowflakes out there. Be they Swedish, Norwegian, American, or whatever. I am sorry. But the reason is Islam. Islam is an ideology that will not assimilate, it will not integrate, because it wants to take over. And the more Muslims you have in a country, and this is not on the personal level, a lot of Muslims are good persons. It's not about that. But when you have more Muslims in a society, you will get more of Islam, you will have a higher level of conflict, and that is what is happening to Sweden. And if anyone, I think that Mr. Baylan knows this. His family fled from Muslim persecution, because by definition all Assyrians who live in Sweden are refugees from Muslim persecution. And he knows this. I can't believe anything else. He knows this. I think he's lying intentionally for his own career. Well, Mr. Baylan, I hope it's worth it for you. This is a Sweet Speaks. Have a nice day.